Hey guys, it's Michael. Today is your Thursday, July 9th, second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. We have a lot of big news to cover today, especially from the Senate. In today's video, I'm first going to go over how record cases in the US and at least 5 states set record highs for new infections on Wednesday. Then we're going to get into a few Republican senators who spoke out on the second round of stimulus checks, what they would like to see. And then finally, we're going to get into what Mitch McConnell said yesterday in an event in Montgomery County where he specifically laid out who will be receiving funding in the next stimulus package that he is currently writing up. He breaks down some of the specific details of who will receive money and where money will be going. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to enter today's $50 free stock giveaway. All you need to do to be eligible is like the video down below, be subscribed to the channel, and comment down below the 3 stocks I mentioned at the end of today's video. I'll be announcing the winner in my second video today, so make sure to check out that video. If you don't want to enter, don't worry, you could still go ahead and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. Anyways, let's jump right into it, and let's first go over what is going on with states reopening. Then we're going to get into Republican senators, and after that, we're going to get into the specific interview with Mitch McConnell. I'll put timestamps down below if you want to skip ahead to anything. So, record cases were in the US, and at least 5 states set record highs of new infections on Wednesday. A record 62,751 new infections were reported across the United States on Wednesday, including over 9,900 in Texas, 11,694 in California, and a number of other states saw record highs. The total number of cases has now surpassed 3 million cases in the United States, and the death toll is approaching 130,000. The World Health Organization Director General said on Thursday, earlier today, that the pandemic is still accelerating. It's still getting worse. And he noted that the total number of cases worldwide has doubled in the last 6 weeks to nearly 12 million. So right now we're seeing exponential growth all across the world and in a number of states in the U.S. At least 5 states yesterday, such as Missouri, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia, all set single-day records for new infections. And this is not looking good because we're starting to see a rise in the number of cases. States are continuing to reopen. Some of them are putting more restrictions into place, but things are continuing to get worse. The top health officials in Tulsa, Oklahoma, suggested on Wednesday that the surge in the number of cases in Tulsa and around the city was probably connected to the contentious indoor campaign rally President Trump held there a couple of weeks ago in the 19,000 person seating indoor arena. Dr. Bruce Dart, director of the Tulsa Health Department, said in a news conference on Wednesday that the past 2 days they've had almost 500 cases, and we know we had several large events a little over 2 weeks ago, which is about right. So he was connecting these surge in cases to the events that took place just about 2 weeks ago. He said it's not just due to the Trump event and other events going around in the city, but he explained how also there have been a lot of protests around all of these events. So for example, with the Trump event, there was a lot of protesters outside. Most people weren't wearing masks in the event, and the protesters outside were not wearing masks either. So that is just something to keep an eye out for moving forward. We also saw July 4th weekend celebrations this past week, so we'll have to wait and see if in 2 weeks we start to see an increase in the number of cases there as well. Moving on, let's get into the stimulus update. Specifically, let's go over a few Republican senators first, and then we'll get into Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell after. So Senator Mitt Romney from Utah said, "My preference would be to extend the $600 per week or $2,400 per month unemployment insurance, but to do that in a more limited and more targeted way." He said right now he understands that this $2,400 per month is a disincentive for people to go to work. Many people are making more money staying at home. So he says he understands that, but they need to include this in the second stimulus package, either a reduced amount or they need to still provide some support to the millions of people who are currently unemployed. He also goes on to say how he wants adjustments to payroll subsidies for businesses and aid to states and local governments seeking help with ballooning budgeting deficit. So he said right now states have been spending millions of dollars and that they will need help moving forward. So he says that we should look for extended unemployment benefits in the second stimulus package, more money for state and local governments, and also help for businesses. Moving on, Senator Tom Tillis, who is a Republican from North Carolina, said we need targeted tailoring of any kind of stimulus measures if we really want to get it to the people who are hurting the most. He said in the second stimulus package, there has to be extremely targeted support. They can't just pass another direct stimulus check that goes to everyone. He says it needs to specifically focus on those people who need the help the most. That is, people who are unemployed, whether that's going to be with $600 per week or $2,400 per month, stimulus payments, reducing those, or a direct stimulus check like Mitch McConnell proposed that goes to people who make $40,000 a year or less. But ultimately what he said, it has to be extremely targeted, the next stimulus measures. Moving on, let's get into what Mitch McConnell said. Mitch McConnell had an event on Wednesday while visiting the Sterling Healthcare Center in Montgomery County, where he specifically laid out who will be receiving funding in the next stimulus package that he is currently writing up. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Wednesday said he fully backs the virus guidelines that the Center for Disease Control and Prevention Center published for schools. This is drastically different from what President Trump said yesterday in his meeting. President Trump at the White House said how the measures that the CDC put in place for schools reopening in the fall were too tough, were too expensive, and that they had to redo them. So the CDC is currently rewriting these guidelines, and they're currently making new guidelines that will be published within the next couple of days. But Mitch McConnell says that he agrees with everything the CDC is saying. He said, first of all, we've got to back the CDC guidelines. There's no question about that. They're the one who's studying everything going on. They have been doing the research in what is safe for reopening and what is not safe. So he said he backs what they said. But then Mitch McConnell goes on to talk about the second stimulus package and second stimulus checks, as well as his priorities for the next federal relief package that he will be writing up. He said, I think there will be one more second stimulus package. He goes on to say how there's already been 3 relief packages so far, and the next package will originate in the Senate at his desk. He will be the one drafting up the second stimulus package. He said he's going to be looking to include certain aspects in this package. He has repeatedly insisted that liability protections must be included in the next round in order to get approved by the Senate. He says if there are no liability protections, there's no way the Senate is going to pass that. He also says hospitals and businesses need to be protected from a potential epidemic of lawsuits. He explained how these liability protections put a sense of security in small business owners, because without them, a lot of small business owners are actually afraid to open up their businesses because they might get sued. So Mitch McConnell explains how right now liability protections is essential for seeing a lot of businesses reopen and seeing the economy fully recover. He also emphasized the need to pass legislation that will allow the economy to remain open, saying he does not believe the country can afford to shut down for a second time. What he means by this is they need to have liability protections, they need to have direct stimulus checks, they need to make sure that once the economy starts to open up, that it can continue to stay open, because shutting down, again, would have drastic negative effects on the economy moving forward, and that is something that they do not want to see. We cannot have another shutdown. Moving on, he goes on to say, if you're looking for an emphasis on the rest of the second stimulus package, I think the next relief bill will look at kids in school, jobs, and healthcare. Those are the 3 main aspects he thinks you will see in the second round of stimulus. He also said we cannot get back to normal if kids are not back in school. If there's no child care services and parents have nowhere to take care of their children, well, then they can't go back to work, and it's much harder to get back to normal life. McConnell specifically said that there will be a heavy emphasis on providing funding to help with the cost of opening up schools safely in the fall, according to the guidelines from the Center for Disease Control. He's not saying anything about the guidelines in general. He agrees with the guidelines from the CDC, but he says in order for schools to open up, there needs to be more funding. He says costs include increased cleaning at schools, personal protective equipment, and tools for online learning. He says it will be challenging for schools moving forward. But he says you're going to want kids to wear masks, you're going to want to do social distancing, you've got transportation issues, and he said all of these things have cost issues, and with these cost issues, they need to provide more help and more stimulus to schools and childcare so all of these issues can be addressed and they have enough funding. And then finally, McConnell goes on to talking about wearing masks in schools and in businesses. Ultimately, Mitch McConnell said it was absurd that masks have been politicized. He said wearing a mask shouldn't be a political issue. He explains how the virus is not involved in American politics. It's a health issue. It has nothing to do with American politics. And he says, I think the smart thing for us to do is to follow the best advice that we're given, wear masks, social distance, and just take the precautions necessary and not to make it a political issue. He said that is how we will see the economy recover, and that is what we need to do moving forward. So anyways, that is your Thursday, July 9th, second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. We had a lot of information we covered, from states reopening, schools in the fall, Mitch McConnell and other Republican senators, what they said specifically about the second stimulus package. Now let's get into the $50 free stock giveaway. All you need to do to be eligible is like the video down below, be subscribed to the channel, and comment down below these 3 stocks. The first stock for today's video is DraftKings, and the stock ticker symbol is DKNG. The second stock for today's video is American Airlines, and the stock ticker symbol is AAL. And the third stock to enter today's giveaway is Carnival Cruise Lines, and the stock ticker symbol is CCL. So make sure to comment down below those 3 stocks, like the video, and are subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. Get $5 when you download the Acorns investing app. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.